October 31st, 23. Picking up where I left off. Okay. After the rape and torture, that Asian lady said her husband died up there. Well, one of the guys that stayed there, he showed up, half his face was purple and a gash on the other side of his face. Other ones said they had to hide in the woods overnight. Almost froze to death in December. Okay. The Asian lady kept showing up and saying she didn't have a husband because of this. Well, they had already warned me they'd do it again. It took about a year. I go up and I'm sitting outside the Ravenna courthouse. The men that would help work the case eat in the bar across the street at lunch. I purposely call my sister. I start giving statements of the money disappearing and on. And I said, I need to go report this. I'll watch two of the guys from the case. They look at me in the face, look at each other. Where's that idiot over the house? I go in and the nice Ravenna officer with gray hair, mustache, and dandruff usually says, "Hi, sweetie, we'll have the boys look into that." He looks panicked. And I said, "Can I speak to Judge Timothy?" He was busy. I gotta leave. He's like, "I can't let you leave." I said, "I gotta go." He said, "You don't understand. I can't let you leave. You gotta talk to Abigail." I'll get two lady officers. They take me down. First thing I say is the FBI don't use sodium pentothal. I know that. Nobody does. I know that. Nobody drugs anybody. I know that. Up walks a little man with a tiny vial. I'm here for carrying around the house. Walks off with the lady officers. Abigail's like, "I want you to go make a report at the Portage County Sheriff's." Lady officer walked up and said, "I'll walk you out. You run around. You tell everyone you know what happened to you. And you hold the FBI accountable. People have got away with way too much. You go tell the Portage County Sheriff." The next day, I meet with Officer Bacon. That man dare get smart with me. I've lived through hell. Start pulling evidence out of my phone. Is this funny? Is this funny? Is this funny? This is above my level. And I'll pass it on. He's a fucking sheriff and it's above his level. I used to go up there and call him a meter maid. I was so mad at him. Obstructing justice. They started blaming the Portage County Sheriffs and the Ravenna Police, and I emailed the Ravenna Police. The chief of police called me back. Now this is funny. I interviewed all my officers and they knew nothing of what these people did to you before. It was none of my officers. He sent me over to the Portage County Sheriff's in a recorded room. Miss Hall, what these people are saying they did is illegal. It was none of our officers in your home, nor did we have knowledge of anybody being in your home outside a protective light case. I said, with statements, yes. He said that would be illegal. I said, it's the Fourth Amendment. Yes. I said, you can't look or listen. Yes. And I told him about the bruises and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they're talking about a shower scene in the other room. He's like, he said, we had no knowledge of that. And what they did is illegal. Lady sheriff's behind the door. None of that is funny. I said, the man on the other side of the duplex before I called that agent back had a copy of my phone. And they're like, that's not funny. You can hear him through the door. No, it's not. And he said, Miss Hall, and what these people did is illegal, and we had no knowledge of it. Okay? And he said, and we all know that you didn't think Officer Bacon did anything. He walked right in the chief of police, and he told everybody to stay out of it. Right on Google, you can't tell anybody to stay out of it. You go to jail for that. You can't tell somebody not to do their job. It's obstruction to justice, tampering with evidence and witnesses. Like the Tuscarora sheriff said, you can't tell anybody not to police somebody and not to help them. You go to jail for it. It's like life in federal. Okay? I have been emailing everyone. I went out with my one friend January 20th, 23. There was men dressed in business shirts sitting around us, cars that had been following me for a while. They came in, a lot of them, the rest of them sat out in their vehicles. He looked at me and said, I got a friend on the police department. The men are sitting there in dress shirts. He said they knew about that case that Agent opened with you. They knew about the Texas group. And I'm like, the Kingsmen? He said, is that what they call themselves? They all looked at me. He said there was a retired judge in Texas involved in this human trafficking scam. They went down to question him and killed himself. He said there's another retired judge involved in this too. They're going to use that case, that Agent open with you to get these drug traders, human trafficking people. He said they found 35 people tied up in a railroad car, and African American people, they were just taking them and shooting them and throwing their bodies along railroad tracks. He said, you have so much hurt and pain in your eyes. And then he drilled me in front of him until I was stuttering. Okay. He said the police are getting ready. They're not releasing much information. They're getting ready to take care of this. And 3 weeks later, the sheriffs and marshals out this area did an 800 people sweep. They have got also a man that was impersonating an African prince, extorting money out of people, and they would talk about a prince from Africa was having people help watch me, trying to protect me, and business owners would donate money, and I'd go home and cry. I was so embarrassed, trying to keep me safe. They'd call him, her ex-husband's a real asshole. He did what? Yeah, I'll help donate. He scammed people out almost $1 million. They got him. And where the men showed up, we were for the king from Texas. He sent his men from here. He's a drug lord. He was one of the biggest ones in the United States. An Iraqi. Dark web malware. Military. Okay. Fentanyl king. And they kept saying the king left his men here. They talked about him about the Ravenna courthouse. The Muslim women show up in hijabs in 18. They followed me for years. Cleveland Avenue, Oakland apartment. They were out there at 13th Street. They were out more in Bedford. Everybody talked about the king. That's the one that king takes care of, Maslin. He left his men here to watch him. He left him here to terrorize me. He's a fentanyl king. It was a terrorist act. You know, they talk about sleeper cells of them hiring U.S. citizens to attack each other. This is it. They got a lot of big bad guys off this. While they let those human traffickers human traffic me, they were talking today. They even let them rape and torture her so they could go get those bad guys. They can't do that. But they did. They did. They let them human traffic me too. They let them crush my head in and almost murder me and drug the hell out of me and make me live through a concentration camp while they went after the bad guys. I deserved my damn money. That agent was at that church. He admitted he talked to the Vegas on the phone, and he admitted he knew of the rapist. And they sold the login, where the first month of the case they came up and said they were selling the login for $25 a pop. Where the cops that watched me said, Will told us to keep an eye on her and document everything every day. We found out that fucking Iraqi terrorist was telling everybody it was Will, and he was selling the login. And he was telling everybody not to help her. I deserved my money. My friend used to work at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office. It's illegal for the FBI to ever drop you. You're in a witness protection program. The Department of Justice will put them in jail. You can tell however you want. Informants are a little bit different than the regular witness protection program. You say who you are to get them information. You risk your life. They owe you, if you work 5 minutes a case, an hour a case. You can tell however you want. And they can't open their mouths. He was only bullying you to get away with this. I said, well, they already knew. I don't care. He said he was only bullying you. He don't have that kind of authority. I said, but they already knew, and I told him, and he acknowledged, I don't care. He said, and as far as the FBI, they can put you in another witness protection program. But otherwise, you stay an informant for life, and they owe you for the rest of your life for risking your life to get them information. Most people get letters of accommodation for this big of a bust. That would be a nice touch, and I like my money. This in January 19, they told me, remember the truth. They'll try to implant lies. They'll try to steal everything you have in life. They'll even try to implant false memories. That's this. What comes next is for when they find you alone. That's when they'll take care of you. And I die. Okay? They told me how to cut up my face, stab me to death in a field south of Ravenna. They play with me. They're serial killers. Now they're threatening my life again. That they're got a man to take me out with a single shot. They don't just threaten to get around to doing it. They're serial killers. And when people realize that none of this is funny, and that Lisa bragging to that couple in Kohl's, a week ago Sunday, we talked to Lisa. We asked her if she was getting well for a while before she got all the way up well, and said yes. And when she finally got all the way well, nobody thought of it. Till Strain said it, and they all believed it. So they hired men to drug, beat, and rape her. And they knew the ones they hired. They were even killing people here. And if she lived, they wanted to make sure she went through a divorce with Dave, and that she ended up with nothing. And they knew that they were killing other people here. She knew they were killing other people here. You better stay out of it. I know. People have screamed from Maslin to North Canton to Akron that Lisa confessed. That's why the drug cartel attacked Ohio. In 17 and 18, they brought him here. She confessed. Thousands have died and been taken. She's a serial killer, a psychopath. Nobody else would touch another person for any reason besides self-defense.